Good morning. Good morning. I am happy to be here with you with another installment, episode, series, moment of more of 100 days of more. So I am, if this is your first time joining us and you haven't been on one of the others, I'm doing 100 days of Facebook Live. And it's funny, I was going to say this the other day. um, it's a fun thing and I'm excited to do it, but it's also a challenging thing. And what I mean when I say that is that I'm one of those people that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And so when I said I'm going to do 100 days Facebook Live, I was like, shit, I got to do 100 days of Facebook Live and I got to show up. And on the few occasions I can't because I'm on a plane or I'm traveling, it's like I got to find somebody to show up. So I'm excited to do it. And I like when I put out a lot of challenges for myself in all types of things and everything you can imagine, because when I say I'm going to do something, it really does force me to do it. And so I'm going to be here. I hope that you are here. I hope that you share this 100 days of more with other people. I hope something, even if just one out of the 100 is a nugget for you or an idea or a shift change for you. I would love that. And it's funny, it's a shift change for me this morning because I had a very specific topic that I had really thought about last night and wanted to cover and do. And then I jumped on Facebook and I read a Facebook post and I said, nope, I am talking about that. So maybe tomorrow or even next week, I'll do the other one that I was kind of planning for and thinking about. But it's interesting because I know what I'm going to talk about today. There's going to be many sides to this, and people are going to definitely have opinions, and some of you are going to have very strong opinions. And so I say, bring it, bring it, bring it, bring it. Hi, Hanika. I actually just got a beautiful card from you in the mail. Hello, Happy New Year, and thank you for the beautiful card. If you are here and you're joining us, say hello. I like to know who's watching. I like to see who's here and connect with you. But I invite you as I step into this Facebook Live to share your opinion. I believe that I am right. That does not mean that I am right. It means that I believe I am right. So I am happy and open to having a conversation with you about your opinion on this topic. And I'd love to hear your insights and your gut reaction. And it's a topic that I have talked about and dealt with over the years for many, many, many years because it's a part of me. It's a part of me. It's who I am. It's kind of as natural to me as breathing, and some people have a real line in the sand around it. Good morning, Dr. Michelle Joy Brown. I always say, is that not the best name in the world? Dr. Michelle Joy Brown, right? I mean, you can just hear it on the radio, on TV. I love it. So I've talked about this a lot over the years, and lots of people have shared their opinions with me via email or in person, or said, oh my gosh, Suzanne, I just love you, but if you could not do this one thing. So when I jumped on Facebook this morning, I saw a post that it was a great trigger for me. I don't mean in a negative way. I mean, that's how you should go through the world. You should have a reaction to the world. Like when you see something posted, what's your opinion about it? What's your reaction to it? When you see someone share an opinion, what is your counter opinion to that? That's what makes for interesting people. It's what makes for interesting content. So I saw a post, and this is by a wonderful man whom I really adore. He's so super smart, and I respect his opinion. But he posted something this morning that I just think is stupid. It's stupid. So I responded to his post right before I jumped on here, but I said, now I'm going to talk about it on Facebook Live. Hey, Jennifer, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as well. So it's cursing. It's cussing. So it's a little bit of an ironic time that I saw that post and am going to comment on it and do this Facebook Live about it, because yesterday our nanny texted us and said that Adrian, who's 3, listen, he has heard some curse words. There's open cussing in my house. I grew up in a house where there was cussing. I had a father who I thought positioned it really, really well. He said, cussing is just words. It doesn't mean a damn thing. He said, but there will be a whole group of people in the world that it does mean something to. So you have to learn where to use it and where not to use it, not for your sake. Not for their sake, but for your sake. And so I really grew up in a home where words were just words. I mean, it didn't matter. My parents cussed a lot. They cussed when they were happy. They cussed when they were mad. They cussed when they were sad. I think it's a form of expression. I grew up in a very expressive house, and I've done the same, and my wife has done the same. So our nanny did email us yesterday and said that she was playing grocery store or something with our son, and he was paying, and he has these little fake credit cards, and he was looking for things, and he was, you know, in major pretend mode, and he turned to her and he looked at her and he said, my wife's name is Melanie, if you don't know that. He looked at her and he said, "Oh shit, Melanie, do you have any cash?" And she said, "Oh my gosh, you know, I didn't laugh so that I didn't encourage it. I said I just moved on with the play." And so Melanie and I got that text, and obviously, you know, when kids do funny things, it's hard not to giggle. But Melanie and I said, what if we posted that? Like, what would people's response be? And I said, I kind of want to post it and then say, what do you think is the issue here? What do you think is the problem here? And Melanie said, yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what people said. And Melanie and I said, because we think the problem is a cash problem. Because it's true, we never have cash, and we're always talking about, do you have cash? Do you have cash? So we said, we don't think this is a cussing problem. This is a cash problem. Listen, I don't want my 3-year-old out in the world cussing because of the world, not because of him or who he is or who we are. And so it is a part that I think my dad did a really great job with talking about appropriateness in certain places. But the post that I read this morning was about, it said, have you seen all these books that have titles in it that are, you know, use the F word? It said it's not even just the F word, but it says bitch, and it says shit, and it says all of these things. And they said, I mean, you know, I think the man said, call me a prude, but don't you think that this kind of says we're in trouble? And I had to respond because another buddy of mine, a super buddy of mine, had posted about this about 6 or 8 months ago. And I said, when one of you old white guys makes one of these posts, I feel bad for you. Because guys, it is just a form of expression. It is just a form of creativity. I know so many people that end their conversation with me and say, have a blessed day. And for most of those people, it is a religious reference. And I am not a religious person, but I'm not offended by it. I know it's their way of expressing themselves and their way of saying something good for me, or just trying to say something good to me. So the question isn't, are we in trouble because there's a bunch of books on the shelf at your local bookstore that have the F word on it? The question is, why are we so damn offended by everything? And why does it matter? And where does creativity start and where does it stop? Because here's the thing. You can't be the person who says, I think there's too many cuss words in the world, and then also be the person that says, I think that like entertainers and comedians have to have a boundary, and you can't talk negative about politicians, or you can't talk negative about, right? Like it's a slippery slope. And not, you know, I don't want to get too deep into censorship and that kind of thing. I really kind of want to stay on the cursing topic, but it truly, for me, is a representation of my self-expression. There, I am telling you guys, when you get to a moment in life when something is to such a level that it has reached something that is making just this magnanimous moment in your life, there is no better word than fuck. This is fucking amazing. This is fucking amazing. I mean, I can't think of it. And if you want to share with me what you think would be a better word, and you're going to share like, this is incredibly amazing. So let me just show you the difference. This is incredibly amazing. This is so, this is awesome versus this is fucking off the charts amazing. I win, guys. Mine wins. It's just a form of expression. It's a form of creativity. And we could talk about entertainers, and we can talk about writers, and we can talk about authors, and we can talk about speakers. And I get it, guys. As a speaker, and I'm a speaker, I can't walk into any speaking gig and drop an F-bomb. I can't. I mean, I usually say, I will say damn, I will say ass, I will say, you know, he's a jackass. But I know because, again, I take my daddy's advice, right? There is, for my sake, I don't do that because there's so many judgments and so many people who can't get over themselves about cussing and language that I don't do that. But if I'm writing a book and I get it, and I can get it published, And I feel like the best way to present it is, you know, the title to be Life is Fucking Awesome or Life is Effing Awesome. And you notice that I called this Get the F star CK over it on this Facebook Live this morning. I don't even know why I did the star. People do it. So it's like, I don't know if I can't type it out or what, but I did it. It's like, if I want to do that and I can get a publisher and somebody's going to put it on a shelf and somebody's going to buy it, if it offends you, don't buy it. Who cares? But it is my greatest level, one of my greatest levels of self-expression. And so I really do want to hear what you have to say about it. And I'm not offended if it does offend you. And I'm not offended if you disagree. As a matter of fact, I think that's what makes for the most interesting conversations. And my whole point of this 100 Days of More is about expression and about you getting more of what you want. And what I think getting caught up on words does. You know, my business and my brand, I've always used hell yeah, and I actually used to have it quite branded, a lot of stuff hell yeah. And I had 2 clients who were amazing clients, and they were actually Christian life coaches, and they came up to me and they said, just so you know, the hell yeah doesn't work for us. They said, but we love you and we love what you're about, and we love how you have helped us, and we love how you've connected with us, and we just replaced it. Every time you say hell yeah, we say amen. And I said, I love that. Say whatever the hell you want to say, right? It doesn't matter. But, you know, my very, very first coach, who was an amazing coach, he is an amazing coach, and was a phenomenal spiritual mentor and a brilliant, just understander of life. He said, the offense is always within. And guys, I have lived by that the offense is always within. And so go beyond cussing. What are you constantly offended by? I can't think of much that offends me, right? I can be disappointed in things, but I can't think of much that I am offended by. And I think that is what I would like the lesson in this to be. Today, if there's a lesson, if I even have the right to share a lesson on this, but if I do, of what is being offended causing you? Right? How much energy is it taking up, and what does it really matter? And, you know, if you're offended by something on TV, or hell, you're offended by something the president says, you know, I mean, the president says something every 5 minutes, in my opinion, that you could be offended by, but he is who he is, doing what he does. And my reaction to that is that I can speak up against and speak up out of that. And I can also not vote for him and try to vote him out. I mean, we have an appropriate reaction to everything that happens in the world. But when we start to think about cussing in particular, the world is not in trouble because there's a lot of books that have an F word in it. Maybe the world is becoming fully expressed. Maybe the world, what if we looked at the opposite way of looking at this? Maybe women are feeling empowered and encouraged and in a place to go, you know what, we're going to come to the same table you sit at, and we're going to use the energy that we want to use and be who we want to be. Maybe people are finally brave enough and courageous enough to say what's really on their mind, and maybe the only way they can say it is to use the F word. The other thing is, if you cuss, it does not make you lazy. I am the least lazy person on the planet, and I cuss all the time. I cuss because it is a form of my own expression. It is a form of my own creativity. And if you choose not to cuss, that doesn't make you less creative, right? Maybe you may have to work harder to find some words than I do, so maybe it makes you creative. It just all makes us who we are. It all makes us who we are. And I think that when we get into, you know, I hate labels. I hate labels of any kind. And one of my favorite people, humans, entertainers, philosophers on the planet is RuPaul. And he says, we're all born naked. Everything else is just drag, right? So we are all from the same cloth. We are all the same person, and we all express ourselves in different ways. So I'm not offended that you don't cuss. I'm not offended that you don't cuss. And I invite you not to be offended that I do. And I invite us all to look at everybody's way of communicating and expressing themselves, and their art and their writing and their speaking and their videos to be their highest form of expression, and start congratulating it and start high-fiving it and start embracing people for expressing themselves instead of damning them for how they express themselves. So I got a little 3-year-old, you know what? And if he grows up to be a cussing, loving, kind human who adds value to the world and walks into every room and makes it better than he found it, and he drops F-bombs and says shit, I don't give a damn. It's just words. It's just language, right? It's just somebody's way of expressing themselves. So what I want you to do today is that I want you to express yourself to the fullest extent. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it sounds like. I'm not going to judge how it comes out. And I don't want you to judge other people today either when they are putting their writing on the line, or they're putting their voice on the line, or they're putting their song on the line, or they're putting their lyrics on the line, or they're putting their message on the line, right? Express yourself. Cussing has nothing to do with being wrong, right, good, or bad. It has nothing to do with you being lazy or you being driven. It has to do with how some people express themselves. So keep on talking, keep on speaking, keep on writing. And the biggest problem we have in the world is a bunch of jackasses judging how we do that. So don't pay attention to any of it, right? Just keep communicating. All right, this one was fun, and I so appreciate the person, if they see this, that made the post, because you gave me great content today, and I love you. You're an amazing human being, and we just disagree on this point. So I'll be curious to see how they respond to my response on their Facebook Live. If you are not following me, where I kind of do in the moment content and in the moment ideas and share lots of stuff is on Instagram, especially my stories. So we are The Driven Inc. on Instagram, so go follow us there. Obviously, we're doing 100 days of more here on Facebook Live. I love that you're showing up. I love that you're hanging out. I love that you're sharing your thoughts and opinions with me. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for 100 days of more. Everybody have a great fucking day. See you later.